Welcome to the Saturday Morning Sages, and we are here going to be talking about. I know I really do this up a little bit. I sound like a radio announcer sometimes to myself. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't make money doing this. Really, I don't. Macross update and then other Anime Expo 2022 stuff. So we're going to kind of go through some of that, and I think that we're going to start right off the top with the Macross stuff that was announced at Anime Expo. And then I also kind of want to go through some of the other things that are in the um, that are maybe we'll head over to Big Bad Toy Store and see what they've got going on over there, because we made some observations there too. And I don't know if they actually announced like stuff like toy releases, but between Myron and myself, that's like an important thing. And a lot of collectors like to collect the stuff too. So how you guys doing tonight? Hot to say it. Hot. Everyone's roasting.
Just trying to stay cool here because I'm doing this from the inside.
Yeah, I'm not roasting because I've been running my AC all day, and I'll pay for it later.
Yes, that's right. You will, and so will I. I've been keeping it very much warm during the day, and then trying to just cool off in the evening hours. So yeah. Welcome to summer, everyone. Cook. Anyway, so all right, let me go on ahead and let's see if I can do this. I should be able to do this. Okay.
It's always worth a shot.
Let's try it out. Okay, so here's Kotaku. And I'm not going to the Anime Expo site first, or actually the Anime News Network site first. But let's talk about this here. So hugely popular. So this was published just this last Wednesday, which was the 6th. Okay, so Anime Expo happens on July 4th weekend. For those of you that don't know, I was a long-time attendee before I was converted to the other side of anime convention in California called FanimeCon. So, and I kind of only visited Anime Expo sporadically after that. I really didn't attend that much, but and the reason why is because I think Fanime kind of tends to focus a little bit more on the fans. And one of the complaints about Anime Expo is that is very commercialized. However, that may not necessarily be a bad thing. But if you just want to get some of these things, and if you have fun at that convention, go for it. It's, I think I've earned my badge. So
it's not that I can't attend Anime Expo. It's just that I choose not to because I don't know. It's just not as fun anymore. It's like just the lines, the fact that it's like generally kind of badly run. I mean, it's like there was an article on Anime News Network about how apparently like the mask mandate wasn't enforced at all, and apparently like the carbon dioxide levels were apparently like out of control over by artist alley. So it's like when you're kind of generating that kind of like human health interest stuff, it's like nah. But let me just say that I fly up north to attend Fanime every year, and even though I'm less than an hour away from LA and Anime Expo, well, I haven't attended one in about 9 years, so that should tell you all you need to know about my thoughts on the convention.
There you go. However, it doesn't mean that we discount what they announced there, and this is a gigantic thing.
I mean, it's the con of all cons.
Yeah. This is and so this particular news item is of interest to us. We've talked about Macross on this cast before, and I feel like they should apologize to all the generations that weren't able to get this. So what do I mean? Like, other fans that have not had the pleasure of this, but I mean, like, now Big West, the license holder for Macross, announced that the anime will be getting a home video Blu-ray release in the US, Canada, and Europe during this panel at Anime Expo. So Macross True Lovers again, Macross Plus, Macross Frontier, and Macross Delta are expected to get re-release treatment. Localization comes thanks to Big West partnership. What's that?
You left out one. Our favorite, remember?
Well, I'm just reading it straight out of the article.
Okay.
So are expected to get the re-release treatment. Localization comes thanks to Midwest partnership with Anime Limited, an independent distributor of anime based in the United Kingdom. Okay. So they say it's a big deal for the anime community. The series has been out of print in English and has been released outside Japan for years. And partially true, right? As we know, Macross 2 and Macross Plus were released by Manga Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. When ADV had the Robotech license, I think they also got the rights to distribute that. They actually did a dub of Macross, not of Robotech. So they released that, and I think for a little bit they also had like it was a dub, and then you could have like Japanese with subtitles. So, and that was like somewhere in the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. Late 2000s, I'm going to say, because early 2000s, I know that Animego, which is still a company, they had the license for a while, and they actually had panels way back then, where they were talking about like, hey, we're going to remaster this, we're going to clean this up, and all this other stuff. It was a big deal, So I know I went to some of those panels way back when. But then the ADV one came out, and I think they use a simplified process, frankly. But that's just me guessing. Regardless, so it was released, at least the original Macross, Super Dimension Fortress Macross, which is not in this list. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. Like apparently, like the writer just wants to pretend that that 7 doesn't exist either.
Oh, there's also 7 what? Anyway, yeah, there is a 7. So if you sandwich it right here between this comma right here, that pause right there, that's Macross 7. That little space right there between Macross Plus and Macross Frontier. There was a television series, called Macross 7, and if you want to watch it, you may watch it, and if it's out there, but I don't see it here. So, okay. Being one of the few people that's actually seen it, I can say maybe you're not missing much. The important ones are actually here, though. I would say Macross 2 is a weird thing. I have seen it, and it's kind of a what do you want to say? Well, a lot of the Macross fandom. Okay, if you're like the Macross purist, okay, no Robotech, and and you're just talking about things that fall in line with like the Macross. So it's weird. So there's Super Dimension Fortress Macross. That's the TV series that Robotech was based off of, right? Then you had essentially, I don't think that there was much else. Then there is until you get to really, I think Macross. There was the movie. Do you remember Love in Japan? But it was not released in the U.S. I think it was kind of, but not.
It was dubbed, and it's a thing of beauty. But
yes,
go on.
It's called Clash of the Bionoids. Barf, and it was cut. Yeah, and the dub was bad. Also true. So yeah, but it didn't really get it. It was like like Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind was released as a dub by, I forget who it was.
It was like New World Pictures or something like that.
Something like that. And they kind of cut it, and the dub was not good.
And it was called Warriors of the Wind.
Yes, Warriors of the Wind. That was it. And Hayao Miyazaki reportedly really did not like what they did to it.
That's why we didn't get any more of his stuff until that Disney deal in the 90s.
Yes, he was not happy. But yeah, so Clash of the Bionoids basically is this is, it's got the similar treatment because in the 80s, well, it's just another cartoon, right?
Anyway, and these days we don't talk about it in polite company.
Yeah, exactly. So it was and then Macross. So but there were people I remember back then. I'm that old, but I don't care. So back then I watched Super Dimension Fortress Macross the movie, and before I even saw the TV series. Do you remember Love? I didn't even have like, it was just raw, like no subtitles or anything. I was still amazed. But then Macross, I guess they decided to produce this thing called Macross 2 Lovers Again, which set it like in the year, I want to say like 2050, 2060, and it was like way out there. So a lot of people don't consider it to be a canon story that lines up with like that movie and that TV series, although there's some weirdness going on there. Macross Plus, Macross Frontier, these all, and Macross Delta all seem to kind of line up in the, we'll call it the Macross like universe. We'll call it that. Or
more thing about
continuity, more or less, because the movie doesn't really even match either. But
John,
yeah.
One more thing about Macross 2. It's also one of those sequels that you get when basically the rights holders wanted to make a sequel, but none of the people who worked on the series wanted to do it either.
Yep.
So basically, like Shoji Kawamori is basically like the patriarch of the series. It's like, and he and apparently his crew didn't want nothing to do with 2. That's why it's basically just considered non-canon, or it takes place in an alternate universe, like at this point.
And it is kind of a strange story. I'm just straight up tell you guys. It's weird.
But now we'll have it to own ourselves, like it's like whether we want to or not, right?
That'll be an interesting one for me to consider buying. It really will. I don't think it's a good story, but I'd have to rewatch it just to make sure. Anyway, so Manga Entertainment actually had the license for that and Macross Plus. They had it for the OVAs and the movies because Macross Plus was both. Another detail that's not listed here is it says Macross Frontier, but it doesn't mention the movies. And we're not, I don't know if that was a blanket statement for, and the movies, or that's just referring to the TV series.
I think that the Anime News Network article said that, that Macross Frontier, it's coming. Oh, also I think they use the same kind of language for Macross Plus as well. So that they're being kind of cagey about whether or not they've got we're getting like, everything. It's like in one box, regarding like Plus, like the OVAs and the movies, as well as Frontier with like the TV series and the movies. So I think that's why they said, this is coming. We just can't say in what format yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they go into a little bit more detail about like how it's a big deal and all that, and then how it's been out of print, which kind of it has been released outside Japan for years. Kind of, true. And I think Byron, you and I had talked about like the licensing thing. It's like, they can do things for like the Voltron thing, like Bandai, and because the series was originally called Go Lion, and then they got a whole I don't know who got a hold of it. I'm not even like thinking who like made the original dub for Voltron.
It was like World Pictures or World something entertainment.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what was cool is that Bandai had actually, they're like, okay, hey, we're on this Soul of Chogokin like series of figures, which are like the highly, like lots of metal, very highly detailed, articulate, collector's pieces for this. For Go Lion, they put a slip cover on it for Voltron, and they also in the inside gave you a plate to mount all the weapons, and so you could choose like the nameplate could be Go Lion or it could be Voltron. And we were talking back then, Myron, about like that's the smartest thing ever.
Oh yeah, because it appeals to both markets. The the original Japanese market, and of course like the U.S. market that grew up with Voltron. So, the Go Lion set, and even the is it Die Ruger 15?
Die Ruger 15, yes, that's it.
Yeah, same car Voltron basically.
Yeah.
Those like the Solo Chogokin line has released um metal robot figures, across like different franchises, but there's certain franchises that appeal to the Western audiences as well. And so the Voltron line, Die Ruger and Go Lion appeal to the US, and they've even released some Power Rangers ones like the Megazord and I think the Dragon Zord in that same line that appeal to a Western audience. And Bandai has also released some Macross Chogokin figures, but especially from our era of Robotech or Macross, but because of this licensing dispute and business politics in the background, they've never been available to Western audiences. So this news right here is huge, because now that availability is starting to come to us a little bit. So, like when we originally first started, our conversations in this podcast and started bitching about Harmony Gold's hostage of the Robotech license, to where we're missing out on a bunch of these, good Macross products. I mean, we were buying Macross figures, from the second market, eBay or Amazon, whatever, and paying, a little bit more than retail price. And I'm happy to say, like, ever since this announcement, the first ever what is it, the world edition, I'm looking at it right now, the Macross Frontier VF25 Messiah Valkyrie worldwide anniversary. The VF25 Messiah Valkyrie is from Macross Frontier, never been released in the US. His exposure in the US is only to those hardcore fans, and even though it's not the same color scheme, we're finally getting a Frontier product available to a Western audience. And of course, I got this pre-ordered. I got this slated to come in July 19th, and I'm excited because I've always liked this Valkyrie. I wanted the custom. I wanted its full, super part set for many, many years. And it's always been, out of reach for me just because of cost at the time. But now we're getting this availability to where, like, the figures that we previously bought from the original Macross series, or Do You Remember Love, obviously we paid a premium for, but now the availability of some of those other Valkyries we missed out on could have the possibility of being released through Tamashi Nations, and we could buy that at a reasonable cost.
Yep. And one of the interesting restrictions that Bandai had on these figures is that you could pre-order them, but they could only be like from Bandai or whoever, the retailers, but they could only be shipped to a Japanese address. So your only choice outside of the country is to get it from a third-party seller, which means you paid more for it. And so it was just and Myron, you and I have collected some of the Valkyries, and like these are like, for lack of a better word, in the Transformers thing, it's like a masterpiece version of these models, right? Like they're just super detailed. The one that really impressed me was the orange training Valkyrie from the TV series that Hikaru, some people know as Rick Hunter, but
Ichijo.
Yeah, Hikaru Ichigo. Like the one he flies, not only does it comes with that, it comes with the Minmay figure. It also comes with his little the stunt jet that he flies to in the first like episode or whatever. It's just insanely, and it's nicely painted, looks really good. These are the things that we can't get here because of this legal thing that we're talking about here that's now kind of been, it's almost like I didn't expect this to happen ever,
No.
And now that it is, we're starting to see like you said, like at sites like Big Bad Toy Store, online retailer, they have these. They're having some of these from this line now starting to show up, and
Now,
that's great. That's exactly what we were talking about. It's like, why didn't you guys just do that cross promotion in the first place? But there was some kind of legal bickering going on with the license between, different companies, Big West, and Harmony Gold as well, which there are many, many people who have cursed the name of Harmony Gold every night before they go to sleep.
now, did you
speaking from experience here, sir?
Maybe.
Did you ever get that figure?
Which one? Oh no, I did not. I chose not to pre-order that figure, and I'll tell you why. Because I already have I have the Roy Fokker Valkyrie, the skull Valkyrie, yellow and black. I also have the Hikaru Ichijo from the Do You Remember Love movie, which is essentially it's the same fighter, but also in it's just in red and black. And then I have a third one, which is it's one of the other pilots. I forget his name. So there we go.
Max?
It's not Max. No, it's not Max. It's the other guy.
The other guy who dies.
Yeah, that's it. So I bought that one, but his Valkyrie, as it was in Do You Remember Love. So it specifically was a Do You Remember Love version. So I'm waiting for the Max version of that, which I hope I haven't missed yet. So I can complete my squad set for that. And there are some slight paint differences and like livery details that are different between the movie and the TV version ones. And if you know what you're looking for, you'll find them. For example, and I'll just mention this as kind of a segue, but on Roy Fokker's jet, the one I have is from the television series. So the livery on there talks about Prometheus that's where it's like, so in the television series, Daedalus and Prometheus, kind of interesting choices for names, but they're the aircraft carriers and the aircraft carrier and the battleship that holds, that are part of the Macross or the Super Dimension Fortress's arms, right? So they're kind of like that. In the movie, they're the ARMD ones, so it's 1 and 2. So for the movie ones, instead of like Prometheus, it actually says ARMD 1. So that's the only difference. It's a very minor difference. Anyway, still looks great.
Yeah, because as a collector, again, I'll say, this is great, huge news because, I'm on the Tamashii Nation's Japanese site right now and looking at the Roy Fokker Valkyrie that we bought. When it came out, it retailed for 18,000 yen, and if you were to do 100 yen to the dollar, that's $180. But yep. I think I paid, after third party, I think I paid 300 for that figure, because that is a Valkyrie I've always wanted, and obviously being a Transformers fan, my introduction to Macross / Robotech was more so because of the Jetfire repaint figure from the original Transformers line. So I've always loved this jet, and it was like, dude, like if I'm gonna fork over cash for a figure, it's going to be this one. And to your point, John, not too long ago, I finally fully transformed this into its its robot mode. So when I first got it, I displayed it in its jet mode, and I'm like, oh man, this is great. And then I got the super parts for it from the TV show. Oh, this is awesome. And then I transformed it to Jarawalk mode, and it's like, oh, this looks cool. I don't want to do the full transformation just yet. And then when you sent me the badges from Do You Remember Love, where it's like the color specific skull emblem, it's like, all right, I think I'm going to install these now, but then at this point, I'm going to fully transform it. And I have to say, there are times during the transformation where I thought it broke or fell apart, but it's part of the design, and the design is like very well done to where like it's solid. You can't break it unless you're deliberately trying to break it. These are really well done figures, and it's like, dude, I wanted more. And so from that test Valkyrie that you mentioned, I kind of wanted to get that one too, even though it just feels insignificant. Like it's significant to me because I remember that from like the first two episodes where Hikaru jumped in and saved Minmay with that Valkyrie, and so like it has a historical significance from the show, and it comes with all the parts and features that you mentioned to replicate scenes from that show. However, that figure retailed on Tamashii Nations for 21,000 yen, but in the third market you were well paying over like $400 or $500 for it, so it seemed very unobtainable. Now we're at the point where these products could become available to us, and as I mentioned, the Messiah Valkyrie is like the first of that. And then I think Jason mentioned too that the Roy Falker's Valkyrie from Macross Zero is coming out. So best believe I pre-ordered that from Big Bad Toy Store. And then also I've noticed that some of the previous Valkyries are starting to come down in cost. So I've been eyeballing the YF29 on Amazon because it's about 230, and I've been wanting that one for a while, so I actually might pick that up very soon.
Yeah, so I'm showing kind of an auction for one of these, and you can see this one actually says it's used.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that's what we're looking at. So, and
that's the same figure, same box.
Yeah. So, and this would be the television version here. So, and it comes with this stand, which, when you're talking about the boosters and the things I gave you is basically that skull emblem right there. It's the same one.
And that's how I displayed my piece when I first got it. Because like looking at that box, I'm like, oh, that's cool how you could tilt it and it looks like it's like blasting off. And then of course, like when if you're able to get the booster set, because I mean the booster set is just as pricey. It's not cheap, but it really accents the figure to where like if you're a fan of this franchise, like it's kind of a must add attachment to this.
Yep. So outside of the segue, I love that, and I would like to see them release more of that, and I think we're headed for that as well. But let's continue with this article. Actually, so there is actually something else that they're releasing, and I guess it's this this art book, and that looks pretty cool to me, by the way. So let's see here. It'll be publishing Sci-Fi Illustrator Hidetaka Tenjin's Artistry of Macross from Flashback 2012 to Macross Frontier. And so if we look at the tweet here, you can see like here's the screenshot right here. This hey, look, it's Macross 7. So here's Macross Plus right above it, and so I think that this would be really cool to get as well. So
definitely.
I'm actually, it says it's published by Udon Entertainment and in stores in October 2022. So that's this year.
But it's like,
yeah.
I'm gonna use Eric mentioned that Tenjin is going to be at Anime Expo. I'm sorry, not Anime Expo. It's Comic-Con, and you can also pick up the book early there.
Oh, nice. I won't be there, so I guess I'll just have to wait until this piece comes out. Can you talk to me like what's Udon Entertainment like publishing? Who are they?
It's like they're a comic book publisher who like, aside from doing like art books like these for anime, manga, and video games, they also they also do like publish a lot of, I guess you say, like global manga type stuff as well. I mean, these are the guys who have been doing like Capcom related comics like the last several years now. Like they just had a recent bundle where you could like pay $25 at Humble Bundle and get like all the Street Fighter comics they've done over the years.
Huh.
So do you remember Dreamwave and when they used to do like Transformers and Mega Man and those type of comic books, and their art style was just very not only true to the franchise, but it just really popped. Do you remember
Yeah.
that at all?
Yeah,
That's the feeling I get from Udon, and to touch from on Jason's point too. Like I own a lot of Udon art books, but they did publish like a lot of Street Fighter comics and like Capcom based comics like Darkstalkers and stuff. But when it comes to their art book compilations, like I have a bunch of their Mega Mans. Obviously, like I have like 4 or 5 Street Fighter books, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Street Fighter 2 collection, all that stuff. And the artists that they have on that team are phenomenal. And you would think they'd actually work for Capcom themselves. And so when they actually put together an art book, like it grabs my attention. So like the fact that they're publishing this, like I expect like top notch art to be displayed in this book. So I'm on board with this. And I'm trying to line it up because I bought a ticket to Comic-Con back in 2020, and of course it got canceled, and I just got my pass in the mail for this year. So my plan is to hit it up Friday, and if I do see this, I probably will pick it up.
Cool. Can you get 2? Anyway,
yeah.
Talk to me later.
I will talk to you later, but yeah, I will definitely keep an eye out. And then of course, like, now that we're in better job situations than where we were, many years ago, it's like, yeah, I don't want to get too crazy, but I do plan on going up to this thing and picking up the things I like, and I will be touching base with you, with both of you, if you need me to pick up something.
So let me see here. Okay. So the other part of this was just kind of like we were going to kind of go through some of these, and we're on the Anime News Network website, or Anime News Network, however you want to pronounce it. So we're going to talk a little bit about these. So by the way, that's like one of the coolest things. So here's some of the news, and you can see in their links here the Macross Frontier Delta anime and Plus and Macross 2 anime release. So that's kind of what we were just talking about. So just kind of taking a look at this, is there anything here that is noteworthy? That I'm assuming that they're so they do have like things like panels and premieres that they've listed here, and then I guess there's other news as well. So I guess there's news for each day, and I did not see all of this before, but we'll just talk about it like here. I guess is there anything interesting here, Gina? I don't know about any of this, honestly. Let me see here. Omnibus editions, Yen Press. Anything that looks interesting? I mean, if you say no, that's fine. We can move on.
No, it's like I mean, it's like just to sum things up. I mean, like there's a lot of manga announced here, and not really any of it, kind of struck me as like, hey, this looks like the kind of like older like seinen title that I'd be interested in. It's like, I mean, it's all just hitting that that like otaku friendly or shonen or shoujo series. It's like on Breadbasket, that the stuff that kind of sells. Like, I mean, there's a lot of isekai titles being licensed. It's like, and it's just kind of like, man, it's like, and of all the, you figure like it's like the biggest anime convention of the year, and I was hoping for like at least something that would be kind of like right up my alley, but nope.
Yeah,
at least from that Friday, like aside from the Macross announcements, there's nothing of interest to me. Like I'm a big JoJo Bizarre Adventure fan, but like that was like expected. Like okay, you gave us a date, September 1st. We knew it was coming out this year, but not,
that was
not
nice of them.
Yeah, not necessarily like huge.
Yeah, let me see here. Oh, hey, look, check it out. On the next day, they did talk about that 7 thing. So there it is. For the first time, you get to experience it. Cool. So there's that. So I mean, hey, you know what? If you watch it and you get past like, let's say, the 3rd episode and you haven't turned it off yet, cool. Maybe they'll stream it for free on like Crunchyroll or something. Get you into it.
I was surprised to see like the name Tokyo Pop because I didn't know they were still around. That was
They're-
like
They
They're-
are,
they're
but
like a shadow of their former selves, but like
yes.
there's like they've been probably like partnering with Disney to license manga based on their properties, as well as like other manga. I mean, they're not going to get any of like the top tier licenses that they used to, like when they were partnered with Kodansha. But like it is. I have to admit a grudging kind of respect to see them. Yes, they are still around, and yes, they are publishing manga. I mean, like they're also apparently going to do a new Rising Stars of manga thing, which, hey, good luck there. So
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying one more note on that whole Macross 7 thing. I see that it is Right Stuff that's releasing it.
Yeah,
Nozomi Entertainment, which they also have the license for things like Irresponsible Captain Tyler, which I did buy their special super duper edition with art book and all that other stuff. I think I have literally every version that they've released.
and Gundam as well.
yeah.
So basically, you got Macross and Gundam under one roof at last.
hell yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
good stuff.
I mean, at least from this day, Saturday, exciting news is, Studio Trigger reveals new panty and stocking with Garter Belt project. John, got me into that series like a long time ago. Very hilarious, and if you're familiar with Studio Trigger, damn it, what's the closed one I love so much? Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill, and Fully Coolly, how stylish their animation is. So I'm excited to see what they come out with this new project. But I guess the biggest news for me, I guess this day, even though it's not really big news because it was announced like years ago, is finally wrapping up Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War. And after Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball was like my biggest anime franchise growing up when I lived in Okinawa, and like nothing, even to this day, nothing could top Dragon Ball. My two top franchises, Dragon Ball and Transformers. But in the early 2000s, like Bleach and Naruto were like those successors, like Shonen Jump successors. Like, oh man, like this is like very Dragon Ball esque. Like, I see the influences and I love them. And I was always rooting for Bleach, but I kind of could tell, the pace that Tite Kubo like did and drew and wrote and published the manga like was at a slower pace. So the anime always suffered from like these crazy long ass like filler episodes and sagas that didn't make sense. And unfortunately, I think that kind of led to the series demise, and it was canceled in 2012. So, excuse me, I had to rely on certain websites to read the manga and kind of keep up. And of course, as those websites kind of dissipated, I never really got to finish the full on story, even though I kind of know eventually what happens. But the fact that I can finally see this finished off in anime form, and the fact that more Bleach products have the possibility of coming out, I'm really excited about this coming out later this year in October. From a Bleach fan, during its heyday, there's a lot of figures and posters. Like I have a lot of Bleach stuff, but then obviously like, as its kind of popularity died down, and of course the anime got canceled, I didn't see a lot of Bleach merchandising as much as I would see Naruto or the eventual Boruto spinoff or even One Piece.
Yeah.
And so I felt starved. Like, why isn't SH Figure Arts making, Bleach stuff? It's Bandai shit. Why aren't there any more like, dope Bleach scrolls? And of course, like, it stopped way too early. So I'm really hyped on this.
So Jason, do you have any commentary on like why it stopped?
Well, not having basically, I was into Bleach towards start. It's like I felt that it had like a certain style that like that other Shonen Jump series didn't have. But the thing is, like at the time, like I was aware that Shonen Jump series, they're not known for like being like short reads. It's like you buy this, like you're investing in something for like the long haul, man. So it's like, so when Bleach started like losing a lot of steam after the Soul Society arc, both first in the anime, because then it went to a filler arc. It was just kind of like me and my buddy David. We were watching at the time. Like we were into the Soul Society arc, but then like the fillers set in. It was like, yep, just like every other Shonen Jump series ever. Click.
Mm-hmm.
And then once once like after like the Soul Society arc, it's just kind of like there wasn't like a clear direction, for what the next part of the story was going to be. It's like, and it's like it's just kind of felt like those. I think I lasted like for like another 5 volumes after. Like I think I stopped around volume 25 because I just realized, man, it's like it's like if I'm gonna keep reading this, like this is something that keeps me firing on all cylinders here, and it's just not doing it for me. So yeah, I cut out early, and I'm glad to hear that that the entirety of the series will be like adapted. But I hope that like they take a look at the rest of the manga that has to be adapted, and they give it some kind of like all killer, no filler treatment, and just take a good hard look at what what worked about this final arc, and try to emphasize that. I mean, it sounds simple, but I imagine that adapting like the whole thing wholesale would probably be more annoying than anything else. Because I mean, like, most of Bleach's fandom had checked out by that point. Sad to say.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
I mean, to Jason's point too. I mean, that kind of Shonen Jump formula. The manga always has to be like ahead of the anime. So it's like with Bleach. Like I remember when I was reading it back in the day too. It's like it could be on hiatus for like a couple weeks or even a month. And the anime aired weekly, so eventually it kind of caught up to where it's like, okay, we need to start we're gonna do this filler saga so that the manga has this ample time to develop the storyline and build up. And so like I agree with you, Jason, where like to me the Soul Society arc was like their version of the Dragon Ball Planet Namekian arc, where like Ichigo reached a level in his power that was comparable to Super Saiyan, and it was dope when Ichigo finally reached his Bankai. But then after the Soul Society arc, it's like, yeah, I watched, but I really don't care about this saga. And then the next big saga was the Hueco Mondo saga, where they basically went into hell to rescue Orihime, and that was like a big deal too. But then like the pacing of the manga was like here and there, to where like you'd be in the middle of this saga in the anime, then you'd have this weird short filler mini saga in the middle of the anime, then they'd pick back up and then go into another filler, like flashback filler or whatever, and the pacing was just off. So the manga is over, it is concluded, and the last saga in the manga is the 1,000-Year Blood War. So my expectation is that this anime is just going to be straight up that, and that's it. Just wrap it up, B.
That's good, but also it's telling that like most Shonen Jump anime don't subscribe to that formula anymore of just like doing filler while the manga catches up. I mean, now they'll just say, okay, we're gonna adapt this chunk of manga right here, and then we're just gonna wait until like they've gotten enough for another season. I mean, it seems to be working well for My Hero Academia, and Jujutsu Kaisen.
I greatly appreciate that now. Like you're totally right with My Hero and Demon Slayer, another one. So
except like, Demon Slayer's done.
Yeah, Demon Slayer's done. So it's like there's no need for filler. You just keep making those seasons. But yeah, to your point, it's like now Shonen Jump anime don't really do that filler, because I mean Dragon Ball Super, the manga is still going on, and instead of like
Dragon Ball Super is anime original.
What do you mean anime original?
I mean, they came out. This wasn't something that they adapted from the manga. This is something that was an anime first, and then the manga came afterwards.
Oh, okay. I didn't know, because I read the anime before I even watched like I read the manga before I even watched the anime, because I know like right now they're like 2 sagas deep in the manga, whereas like in the anime they stopped with the Universal Tournament, where Goku went Ultra Instinct, and it stopped. but then now they have enough material to where like, okay, where's like season 2 on this thing? So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's I appreciate that now they're kind of looking at that because filler to me, filler episode is crap, but here and there, like there were some that I enjoyed, but it kind of throws off the pacing if it doesn't matter to the overall story. And so like I'm excited for Bleach, long story short, big fan of it, and I'm hoping that this will rekindle my fandom because like during its heyday, dude, I had all the PSP games. I had, I had, and
those.
you remember how hyped I was on those? I have all the PSP
I had
games.
one too. I had
You
one.
did?
I didn't have all of them, but I liked playing it. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, the Soul series is one of the best Bleach fighting games ever. And I think I play like the latest one the most, which was like 7, but I have them all just because like, there's soundtracks in there that and Bleach had some of the dopest like anime openings and endings and
that
soundtracks.
first opening is a classic.
Oh,
Man,
hell yeah.
You're bringing back the nostalgic feels for me.
Oh, dude, I had that fucking intro on my phone, bro. Like, I love that intro, and it's like, to me, out of all the Bleach games that I own, I feel like Heat the Soul is dope, but then, oh damn, I can't remember it. There was like 2 fighting games on the DS that were really dope, and they used like SNK like fighting mechanics where there was like a forefront and a forefront and a background where you can kind of change planes and fight. I and when Jason introduced to me the homebrew on Wii, that's when I and I was able to play import games. I imported all the Bleach like Japanese games we never got here. So I pretty much own like the entire Bleach games except for probably the PS2 Bleach games because I have no way to play that really. But I love that franchise, and I'm hoping that this new series kind of resurrects that popularity that Naruto still continues to enjoy,
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Any other notes on this day here, Jason?
In the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
How about you, Jason? Yeah. No.
Okay. Well, let's see. Oh, the announcement of Trigun Stampede. I'm looking forward to that. Even though it's like I'm kind of like feeling mixed about it because they haven't said like much about it yet and what it's actually supposed to entail. Because my guess is that this is going to be like a full adaptation of the manga, because like the original series, like it only adapted like the first 2 volumes, like just Trigun, and then Trigun Maximum came afterwards.
Mhm.
So basically they had to improvise the ending to the series, and it actually turned out surprisingly well, to the point where it's like the Trigun's creator Yasuhiro Naito even incorporated some of those parts from the anime. It's like into the start of Maximum. So, but this is Studio Orange, known for their CG work on series like Beastars, and it's like, and I want to be optimistic about this, even though it's like I can't say that like I mean I really like the original Trigun series, so I'm got this feeling that hey, it's like you don't need to make a remake, but I guess if you're going to give it the whole like we're going to adapt all of the manga now treatment, then okay, go for it, and and God be with you and all. So and
yeah.
So yeah, it's like I'm definitely gonna be watching this when it comes out. So, but that's not coming out until next year. So
yeah. Funimation, and then it streams on Crunchyroll. So if you're interested in watching it, you can check it out on Crunchyroll. The original.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped on that because I recently bought the original series on DVD through Amazon. I'm a little disappointed that it never got the Blu-ray treatment, but from our previous conversation where I was telling you guys like, yeah, I'm buying up all this anime and classic.
Wait, they never put it on Blu-ray?
Nah, dude, they put in like, at least from what I've seen, I've never seen a Blu-ray release. There's only one for that movie.
Verify this.
Oh, Bad Lads on Rumble.
Yeah, Funimation licensed it after Geneon had it, which was formerly Pioneer. So
I still got the
wait,
Pioneer
so wait a
Blu-rays.
second. It actually
Pioneer DVD.
says that Funimation released it on Blu-ray and DVD. So
I've only been able to find DVD. I didn't
Okay.
realize it. So I mean, I got it for what, $25 on DVD, because that
Yeah.
seemed to be the only format available. I was hoping that maybe there'd be a re-release or whatnot. But still looks good, still looks clean. I'm just glad to have it in my collection, because this was something I used to watch pretty regularly on Toonami. I love this show.
Yeah, they talk about it was on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim actually as well. So but I actually have the Geneon DVDs from way back when. So
Wow.
yeah. So I have those. That's right. I do. I have Geneon titles in my collection. And I'm proud of it. Okay, so let's move on to the next one here. And we've got stuff. Okay.
I've got you beat, John. Like I've got Geneon and Pioneer Trigun DVDs in my collection.
So do I. I have Pioneer titles too. So yeah, you know it. By the way, Pioneer back in the now this is dating us, but Pioneer was one of the first companies to release anime on laser discs. I have 0 of, by the way.
Wow.
Okay.
And
I know. I don't even know if I know anyone that owns anime on laser discs.
And if you don't know what laser disc is, kids, they're record size DVDs.
Yeah. So you have compact discs. Like that's even a hard one to explain anymore, kids. They're compact from what? Yeah. So anyway, so let's talk about this. I'm just not going to go down that road because I never even really owned a Laserdisc player myself. So, okay, what do we got going on here in the next day? That might have been, we got like one more day after that.
Now, to me, from this list, I don't see anything significant, at least to my interests. However, before I signed on and started talking with you guys tonight, my buddy Steve was talking about Vinland Saga, which I see there in the middle. Vinland Saga's anime's first season streams on Netflix, and he's been raving about this anime. So
is this the
only
one
reason
that
you don't?
Is this the one that was on? Didn't they do one on Amazon?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
The season was originally exclusive to Amazon, but now it's like it's spreading out because apparently there's a second season in the works.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's like the reason I haven't raved about the anime is because I raved plenty about the manga on the blog.
Yeah.
So
who'd you say? You said Steve?
Steve Watson.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Because cool. we like there's like me, Steve, and Marlena. We've been into we watch different shows and kind of text each other about it, and of course we're all into anime. So I got Marlena into Bleach, and she's really hardcore into Bleach now. And right now we've all been watching Bastard after Jason brought it up last week. I was like, you know what? This is an anime that I've heard of ever since my childhood. And I think after our last conversation last Friday, I was like, you know what? Let me start checking this out. And I watched like the first 3 episodes, and I texted them like, dude, you guys gotta watch Bastard, dude. This shit is comedy. And so they started watching it, and of course that led down the rabbit hole for other anime. So Steve's been raving about Vinland Saga and Gantz. He's like, dude, you got to watch Gantz. And I'm like, it's in my queue. I'll watch it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like I heard the anime is all right, but then like the last third of it is supposed to be filler.
For Gantz?
For Gantz.
Yeah. Damn fillers, dude. We need to stop that.
Yeah.
So,
but also like,
yeah.
I would say if you're also looking for something else to watch on Netflix, check out Spriggan.
That's in my queue too. I'm actually looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Steve and I watched that. Like Steve Bui, not your Steve. It's like just to clarify, keep the Steve straight for everyone at home.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's like this one. It's like it's based on a shonen manga from the 80s that they've updated so the anime takes place in the present day, but it's basically about this kid who has this badass power suit that grants him super strength, like that super strength, and like that, like most vulnerability to bullets and other like small arms. It's like, and he works as this like operative for this like group called Arkham, and it's their job to prevent like out of place artifacts. That basically like artifacts that like that apparently like had some like crazy like like powers from alien societies that were unlocked back in the day, and that were sealed away to keep humans from blowing themselves up.
Yeah,
So,
that term has been used in other things as well. So yeah, the out of place artifacts, right?
yeah, this is just and here they're using it as just an excuse to have some like so like some badass shonen fight scenes involving like guys who can control lava. It's like, oh, and the fact that Noah's Ark was actually a weather controlling device that caused the flood. Eh?
That's fun.
Yeah, but the first episode was pretty solid. It's like had some like good action. In fact, it kind of captured that old school feels like, hey, that like back in the day, like when you had like a quality OVA like on a VHS tape, and you just pass it around to your friends saying, "Dude, this is so cool! You got to check this out." It's like it had that kind of like that kind of dumb appeal to it. And also the episodes, it's only 6 episodes, but each episode is double sized, so you're getting a sizable. You're just like getting like a nice mini movie. It's like with each episode so far.
So, on this news here, anything else worth mentioning?
No,
Yeah, not really.
not for me at least.
So, here's a fascinating little thing. They're talking about like there's going to be an Anime Expo Ontario event in California in November.
I did read that.
That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, as in interesting. I can only imagine it's just going to be at that convention center right there. So that's where Anime LA actually does theirs, and I believe theirs is in January. I don't know if they held it this last year or not. There's something that says it says they did, but I'm not sure. But that's interesting that they decided to put that there.
Yeah, it's like, is there really that much demand for? It's like for an anime convention like this deep into the Inland Empire. It's like, well, it's like Anime LA would suggest so. So,
well,
I don't know. Like, we'll.
I will say this. I'm not sure if you heard about this, Jason. I know recently one of my buddies took his niece and nephew to this anime kind of expo in downtown Riverside, maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And I'm like, downtown Riverside. And it's like, well, I mean, makes sense.
River where? Right.
Exactly. And so, it's college area, college town. And obviously like anime is bigger now than it probably was in our time. We're a few old fogies, talking about sharing, VHS tapes and underground anime, movies and shit. But it's become more popularized to where like, yeah, I mean, I can see this popping up in Ontario, Riverside of all places, shit, maybe even Paris, California. But it doesn't surprise me, and I think that's kind of awesome that they're kind of bringing it more to an inland setting. Because let's face it, earlier, Jason, you said, Anime Expo is an hour away, but I'll tell you that I will fly to Fanime more than, which is, hours away, more than I would be willing to drive to LA. So
I guess their plan is like,
there's 2 things here. I would say if I click on this article, do you think that because I haven't read this at all, how much you want to bet that it's going to be around like Thanksgiving weekend or something like that? Raise your hands. Just kidding.
My hand is raised.
Let's see here. All right.
Actually, no, I did read
it's before it. Oh, 12th, 13th.
Yeah,
okay.
I did. You know what? I take that back. I did read that because the 12th is my birthday. And I remember when I saw this article, I sent this to my boy, Brandon Austin. I'm like, dude, maybe we should try to hit this up.
There was a lot of pushback when Comic-Con announced that they were doing like something a reduced con over Thanksgiving last year, because basically saying like this will be our everyone's like this will be our first like Thanksgiving together with our families, after COVID, which still going on, but never mind that. So I imagine they probably looked at this and thought, okay, maybe don't do it on Thanksgiving. What other weekends we got here? So but we'll see if we'll see if Anime Expo's like great plan to get Jason to come to the con this year. It's like, hey, we'll just move it closer to him. Maybe that will do the trick.
So you know what I think? I think Anime Expo is trying to do a cash grab, like take all of your Christmas bucks.
Yeah, I can see with the younger audience. It's like, Mom, Dad, for Christmas, can you just give me my money early so I can hit up this Anime Expo? I'm not going to ask for anything else because there's a $200 Macross figure I want to get.
There's lots of hotels over there. How big it's actually going to be? It's intriguing to me as an idea, but kind of also intriguing the way that a train wreck is. Like when you drive by it and you're like, whoa, look at that thing. That's just big things that fell over. Anyway, no, and I'm not trying to diss it much. Honestly, I'm just curious. Like, and I probably will do exactly what we're doing here. It's like I'll just read the reports on it and say, okay, was that nuts or what? Okay, all right, fair enough. I'm not going to travel there, although it would be very easy to go to because there's plenty of hotels in that area. The airport is right there. It's right there. So there is an Ontario in California, and it's nothing like Ontario in Canada. So just letting you know. But it is Inland Empire. It is close to where y'all located and everything else. So and I could easily get there as well. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be interesting. I guess let's see how it unfolds and see what they announce. And but it might be just like a mini event. It's got to be scaled down because that convention center it's not the size of LA Convention Center, and they certainly can't. So, if LA Convention Center helped like invent LineCon, like, are they going to cap attendance at this place? Because it's nowhere near as big. So.
Yeah, that's the fear here. Because if everyone, a lot of people could just like hear this, like say AX Ontario, nah, that's not that's not our AX. Or everyone could just hear this go, oh, AX in Ontario, sweet man, let's go. It's like, and because if it's the latter, it's like it's gonna be a goddamn nightmare, man. So
yeah. Well, that's why I'll just kind of watch as things unfold. Like I said, like a train wreck, kind of like.
Ooh, I think that like the real sign would be how fast it sells out. It's like if tickets are gone like about a month before, then it's gonna be a nightmare. But hey, if tickets are still available, it's like when like on the day of, then hey, maybe that might be a sign that hey, it's not going to be like a nightmare to attend.
Yeah, I guess I'll just have to see, huh? But I will not jump into the fire on the first one because I'm sure number one, there'll be plenty of people to attend. I would also number two, I would like to see if they actually put an attendance cap on this thing, because like that convention center could not hold that many people. I know. So this will be interesting to watch. And I honestly, I wish it the best of success. I think it's a cool idea. Frankly, I was like, hey, more anime conventions. Yeah, go for it. Why not do it? Yeah, like years ago, I actually thought like, what would it take to do an anime convention? And then I started looking into things. I'm like, okay, yeah, more than I care to do. And you need money, and you need other things too. So yeah, we'll see. But again, I could see this as being like, if there are appropriate amount of vendors and things like that, yeah, you could probably get some Christmas shopping done there too. You never know. That's why I mentioned
it'll be the same vendors from Frank and Sons, dude.
Yeah, you'll have the Gundam guy there. You'll have them all. You'll have all of those guys. I was thinking the same thing, Myron. I was like, you know what? they'll just probably be all the same booths. The only difference you'll have is like they'll have anime screening rooms and like and then some panels.
And you have to pay to get in.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure,
there's that.
I'm sure Gundam Nazi will be there.
Yeah,
No Gundams for you,
dude. I've seen him at WonderCon. So I mean,
yeah, he was. Yeah,
yeah. I think he'd be there. So I don't think that would be a surprise. Oh, last time I was there, I think he had a shocking amount of like those Funko Pop things, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, that's
man.
his bread and butter now, because ever since Toy Arena kind of took over the Gundam game, like they became like the #1 Gundam booth, or model kit booth, period.
Stole his thunder.
Yeah, because I remember when you first took us there, it's like, oh man, this cat, Gundam Nazi has Gundams, and the reason why we call him Gundam Nazi, because he's very strict on bringing bags and things in his booth, and I totally get that. And that's the only booth that I know that has like cameras, camera set up, like
closed circuit TV and cameras. And
I mean, I'm not a dick, so I wouldn't like try to steal from him. But he might have had some thefts in the past where like maybe there was the necessity to put cameras there. But he would have Gundam kits there with no like stickers, and it's like, or mismatch stickers, like, oh cool, there's this like Gundam Exia, but this one is like $55. This one's $45. It's like, dude, what's the real price here? Same kit. And so like it was just always confusing. And we'd bring up a kit to him like, hey, how much is this? $50. And so, and it's like, and it felt like an episode of Seinfeld where it's like, oh, dude, don't piss this cat off, because then like if you did, maybe that kit would be $65. So like, yeah, I mean, he's always been good to me, Eric, and you too. Like, I mean, he's always had some great collectibles, but I mean, like, there were other booths that popped up, over the years that, since we've been going to Frankensons, like, Toy Arena, like I said, and they just always carried like, hey, if I want this like masterpiece Transformer, or if I want this master grade Gundam, I know that they have it. So
yeah, it's interesting because I bought so I have one of the old Roy Fokker Valkyries I bought from him. It was like the big one, right? But it there was a couple of pieces that were missing, and so it was kind of used in box. So, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I can, so I kind of got a deal on it from him, which is, quite a bit. And it's the same scale as the things we were talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
Cool thing is that it's a guy I work with, his 3D printer, who was able to reprint. Like I was like, hey, here's, can you craft these? I'll pay you for print them, and he was able to do it. So I was able to restore that model, even though it's not like the Bandai quality. I still like it. So I'm like, okay, because it also shows a progression of like what it was before, and I spent money on it. So I'm like, okay, and I could technically resell it, and as long as I put in there like, this is a 3D reprinted place, but it's only on like supporting clips for the armor. So in other words, you really don't see it on the overall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's printed up like some really cool like the armor from the Mandalorian, like her helmet. It's just like dude's genius. It's like, I guess, or unless just like 3D printing is like standard. It's like, of course I can make that.
Well, I mean, let's face it, like 3D printing, 3D modeling has gotten so bombed throughout the years. Like some of the third party, I haven't bought any yet, but I know there were some like third party pieces for like certain Siege figures and stuff like that. I think maybe Astro Train was one of them. I can't, did you buy that? Like it was like a add-on piece to kind of fill him out, like his when you transform him into shuttle mode.
You know what, I wanted to buy those, but I didn't. I just looking into like 3D printed pieces though. There's people out there, so they offer plans, and you like some people you can just pay them for it. you can pay them for the I don't know how to put it, like the drawings, like the things to make it, the files, right? To 3D print these things. And some people give them away for free. Some people sell them. I have no way of judging a lot of the quality of them except for a few YouTube people who have actually reviewed this stuff. And I think it's pretty intelligent. I think it's really cool, actually, that they do this stuff. I was just looking in like general repair stuff, and and my coworker, he's like pulled through like a champ, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome! That's really cool stuff," But yeah, they have like whole kits, like and I've really considered it, but I don't know. I'm just like I just tell you, I think 3D printing is cool. I'm not entirely sure it's for me because I rarely even like 2D print. Okay,
I agree. Yeah.
All right. Like I have a problem printing like just flat pieces of paper out. Okay, so 3D print, I'm like, do I have to? Like the only time I tend to use my nice photo printer is if I want to print a nice photo, or if I'm printing on Blu-rays or DVDs. That's it. Because I know I can do it with that. Rest of it's like utility stuff, and like I found out a long time ago, like the joys of owning like a color LaserJet printer is like, hey, I can print out what I want, but then I got to file all this crap that I print. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm just making messes all over the place anyway. So unless it's like for some form or something, I have to mail off, I generally don't print a lot. So I guess that's just soured me to 3D printing. I think 3D printing is really super cool. I'm not entirely sure what I would do with all this. Like, I don't know how they sell the plastic and all that other stuff. I'm like, so that's why I approached my coworker. I'm like, can you print this? Your Mandalorian helmet looks really good. Can you print this for me, please? Because I like your skills. You got mad skills, man. So
I do see the interest and the value in it, and it's like, yeah, me personally too. Like, that's just something I never like even considered, venturing or investing in. But 3D printers have come down in price, and of course, like the materials are always like expensive. But I had a buddy, my last job that. He was really big into gunpla and model building as well. And then he invested in a 3D printer. Like, oh, dude, I lost this Gundam fin, and or I lost this piece from my model kit. And if he did, he would just like 3D print a new one and do that, or even like I'm not sure if you heard with Gundams like the resin kits. Like he would see like resin kits on on certain sites, but then decide to like make his own 3D printed, add-ons and kits. And I thought that was cool. And he did really good paint jobs after that, panel lining, all that good stuff. But
yeah, you can sand them nice, and like they've gotten better. They don't like look at this ridgy. I guess that like a lot of them you can kind of tell.
Yeah,
a lot of them are polished. You can polish the product up really nice. And I totally get it with the replacement parts. That's exactly what I was doing. And if I decided that I wanted to do that more, then and it might be in my future. And I have no rush to get it at this point. But and when I'm ready to get it, I'm sure I'll be happy with it because it'll be, I think 3D printing is definitely matured since, it's baby stages. It's definitely beyond that.
Yeah.
Regardless, everybody, I think we've covered it. We've talked about Anime Expo 2022, and we didn't even go.
No.
We covered the highlights that we thought were important. Of course, Macross and all that other stuff. And, there's some Bleach things and some other things, some Penny and Stocking with Garter Belt. Hey, there's all good stuff. So... outside of that, I don't think there's much else to comment on it except I wonder what would that little mini Anime Expo will be like this fall, late fall or whatever. So
I mean, nice little diversion, or it's just like one giant mess.
Yeah,
there will be no
like I said, I will be watching from just as a bystander. I'm not going to actually go there if I'm in the neighborhood. Nah, I doubt it. I'll just wait until the reports come out. drone footage. Well, you can't take drone footage over there; it's near an airport. So, I'll just wait for the bloggers to come and talk about it, and they're like, "Yeah, this is a nightmare. Look at this. This line stretches from Ontario to Rubidoux." I'm just kidding. So.
I mean, one last thing I like to touch on before we sign off, circling back to our Macross discussion, as I mentioned, when we first started, recording Saturday Morning Sages, I mean, we were touching on our fandom of the Macross saga and our disdain to Harmony Gold, holding that hostage. And I'm finally glad to see like we're able to enjoy this on from a Western audience is able to access this and enjoy it. I think one thing that's bittersweet too is that during that time where it was held hostage and we couldn't get this stuff, there were some really fantastic Macross games that came out that unfortunately they're on platforms that are no longer supported or even people care about anymore. But wishful thinking, maybe those will get re-released as well. I know, John, you had that on PS3. It was like that Do You Remember Love hybrid where it was like the movie and the game. And for PS3, and that's pretty expensive. I think that goes on average $100 plus. Recently I think I ordered a Delta PS3 game, pretty fun. And of course I own all the PSP and Vita Macross games that came out. And those were, if you like games like, I don't know, like Ace Combat or those aerial type of games, and even mech games, like you get the best of both worlds from those game franchises. And maybe hopefully we'll get some like re-releases or reissues on like modern platforms. But during the time where Macross was held hostage, I mean, there were some really great video games that came from those from that brand.
Well, we might see either. Well, I don't, and here's my biggest issue is that I haven't been keeping up on what Macross has been releasing in Japan for video games. It could be that they've released some really good games and I'm just not aware of them. There are some classics I would love to see, that I think were even on the PlayStation. Maybe those could be redone. Regardless, I think that there is definitely opportunity there, and I would like to see it. I want to see those. I want to play them. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them on the Switch, because it seems like that there's a lot of titles like that appear there from Japanese catalogs. At least that's what
Switch gets a lot of love.
Yeah,
it truly does.
And it could go. And if it was there, I'd be like, I would, what is it, Fry? Just take my money.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
Shut up and take my money.
Shut up and take my money. Yeah, like those PSP and Vita Macross games. Yeah, perfect for the Switch.
Oh, do it. It'd be like, yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, I would look forward to that as well. I mean, I think that maybe they're going too slow, but okay, hey, just get it done.
Well, I don't think they want to totally drain our wallets all at once, but a steady flow is coming out. Like I said, I got that Frontier figure coming in 2 weeks, and then I pre-ordered that high metal Macross Zero figure, which is slated for holiday season. So fairly steady pace. Good on them. I'll be way more stoked when I see more DX Chogokin releases in the US. And then of course, like when it comes to these games, like, hey, if Persona can come out on the Switch, anything is possible. So if you guys are listening out there in Namco Bandai, Harmony Gold, the powers that be, please reconsider, Do You Remember Love PS3 version, the Ace Frontier games on the PSP. Consider re-releasing those.
Yep. Absolutely.
I just want to add that I think it's less surprising that Persona 5 came to the Switch. More surprising that it actually came to an Xbox console. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
Yep. All right. Anything else? Any final thoughts? Cool.
no, I think next time we talk, I'll let you know when this figure comes in. I'll let you know how it is.
Nice. Cool. All right. Looking forward to that. And we'll catch you next time. Talk to you later.
Have a good weekend, kiddies.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, so